this is Gilgamesh. I want to talk for a minute. I've noticed something, and it has to do with people that are all these welfare idiots and stuff. See, I'm disabled. I'm on disability, SSDI. Oh yes, I get taxed on that. I can't file returns. I'm on Medicare, Medicaid, I have United Healthcare, but I also do get EBT, but it's only $23 in cash. Not a whole lot. And I called and talked to Agent Disability, and they said, yeah, because of what's going on, they said you're not gonna get them probably next month. I was like, okay, I didn't cry. Because I'm on what's called catastrophic health. I'm permanently disabled. I can never work because of my diabetes, because of mainly my emphysema makes it, I get really exhausted real easy. So that's why I don't do videos that often. I have rheumatoid arthritis, my hands, I have diabetes, and I have back issues. It's a process to try to what's called unknot my back, which is they perform what's called needling when they take a needle and they go like this, and my insurance only covers 3 times a year to have that done. I've had it done 3, so I have to wait till next year. All that stuff. So I watch people crying, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my food stamps. And I'm like, good. Most of you never worked a day in your life. You're all freeloaders. You're what's called government welfare. You never got a job. And I saw this one white chick, she has a bunch of kids. She another one of these welfare queens. And she cried and everything. I'm losing all my video. Crying. And then she said, don't tell me to get a job. There it is. These people crying about they're losing their EBT. Democrats caused the government to shut down. When I try to mention this to do dissidents, and I bring up that it's not about your health care or any of this subsidy, this is all a lie, I got yelled at. I don't care that the guy yelled at me. It just shows leftists don't want to talk to you. They want to tell you and think that you're too stupid to see through the bullshit of the Democrats. And I brought up Senator Kennedy from Louisiana. He said on the Senate floor, he showed the evidence of what the Democrats did. Now, Trump's big, beautiful tax bill already went through and he signed it. So that's not what this is. This is working on the normal yearly spending bill. 4 years under Biden, the Democrats would push at least 1 or 2 months to get an extension so that they could work on getting the budget done. That's what this was. This was just simply, as far as I understand, they were running into Democrats and Republicans usually do this. They run into where they can't agree on certain things to fund the government. So what they want to do was get an extension. This was not a regular bill. This was just to keep the status quo, means keeping everything open while they work on getting the budget passed. That's what was probably agreed upon. So Democrats, certain idiots in the party, Bernie, AOC, try to sneak a bunch of nonsense that's called pork barrel shit that doesn't have anything to do with Americans. When I point this out, I got you. Okay, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. All these fuckers, I can't stand either party. I live in a state where both parties are dog shit. So don't give me some shit that because I brought up something that was true about what a Republican said, don't tell me, oh, you can cry they're fucking murderers. This is why I get sick of the left. Yeah. And they are all leftists. I don't care what Russell and Keaton Weiss say. They're both leftists. And I bring up the truth about communism. They look down on me. I have no ego. They look at me and go, oh, so I'm done with all this shit with them. Because I have no friends in life. Understand that. I have no friends. I live by myself. I don't sit there and I don't go on podcasts and everything. No one's going, oh, I can't even do YouTube. I couldn't get my old account back because I tried getting my old, and I gave them the email and everything, and they said, we can't find your account. So, because they destroyed the email. So I can't get my old YouTube account back. So I'm not on YouTube. But that being said, And I hear other Republicans, say that, yeah, we care, we want the elderly, we want the truly disabled to be taken care of. We don't want the freeloaders. They don't contribute shit to our society, and they're right. These are people that never worked a day, ghetto queens and all that, and they are ghetto queens. You see ratchet bitches, they go in and fight each other at restaurants, like, you see it all the time. And they're crying about, we're losing on this. Well, blame your party. You vote Democrat all the time. And Republicans were willing to work with it. And they do this, and when you bring this up to a leftist, they get, oh, no, it's Republicans. It's Trump. Trump has nothing to do with the budget. Even Trump said, hey, just put a clean bill out, and I'll sign it. This, I think, was just trying to get things pushed down the road to do the budget. I don't think this was actually the budget. I think this was just to get to where they could keep working on the budget to get it passed. But no, they decided to shut the government down. This is all Democrats' fault. And the thing is, they don't care. That's why Baldani is a joke. See, that's another thing. I watch all these idiots, and these two guys are absolutely buffoons. Sitting there going, yeah, Maldani is going to become, and he claims he wants to freeze rent. Well, that's going to that will backfire. And I pointed out actual Justice Warrior, and I do watch Sean Fitzgerald's channel, pointing out what's going on in New York. Renters are, the landlord, people that own these buildings that they rent, they're pulling them off the market because they know Maldani's coming in. They're pulling out of the system. And the guy is literally suing the bank because he defaulted on his mortgage, and the bank comes in. Neither wants it because it's too expensive. And it's not the bank, it's not the renters, the landlords that are making rent expensive. It's the system that New York has set up, like in every state. And he points out in Minnesota, there's 2 cities that handled how to deal with housing differently. He brought up Minnesota changed their codes so that they could still build cheap housing. Yeah. And he brought up that in St. Paul, they did a rent freeze, and it backfired. Nobody built, all the real estate developers stopped building. No more new housing. Then they tried to do it up to 3 years for the loans. That didn't work. And eventually they realized, because most land developers get 10-year more loans to build. So they had to basically go, I think he said, and I'd watch his video because they allowed, I think from 2005, maybe 2015, on could charge whatever they want in rent. And apparently it brought prices down. See, it's called supply and demand. If you don't have a whole lot of supply, you have a lot of demand, you're going to cause prices to go up. And Maldani, this program he created in New York, he took advantage of it. It was supposed to help people get housing. He and his wife took advantage of it for themselves. He's a multi-millionaire, you morons. He's a rich individual. So when he says we're going to tax the rich, it's always a lie. But get back to this. These queens, these idiot people have never worked a day in their life. And one white chick had a bunch of kids crying, saying she's going to lose her Section 8. I'm not losing mine. I already called and they said, no, we're independently funded. Yeah, we're part of HUD, but we're not funded by HUD. She goes, we'll let you know if things change, because I'm in Section 8. I was like, okay, I'm not worried. But she goes, they cut my benefits down to, well, if food stamps are getting shut down, then you're not getting shit on food stamps. I don't know about your housing, I don't know where you live, but she said, don't tell me to get a job. Yeah, bitch, get a job. You can work. You're able-bodied. These freeloading motherfuckers, and I agree with people like Salty Crocker and, others that take care of the people that truly need to be taken care of. Fuck these freeloading pieces of shit. Yeah, because they are leeches. They are leeches. This is coming from somebody who is disabled. And I get annoyed that you see a lot of people I wish I could work. I can't. You understand this? I have no patience or sympathy for these leftist retards who are communists or fucking socialists who want, give me the free handout. I don't want to work. Fuck you. And when I point out that Soviet Union, I have a caregiver who's from this, who was born and lived in the Soviet Union. She says, yeah, things as far as certain things about the Soviet Union were great. Yes, they had free housing, they had free education, free healthcare, they had a job. Well, if you weren't up here in the government, like up here, and you were useful to government, you were at the bottom. You worked in a factory. Now, that being aside, everything else sucked in the Soviet Union. You had no rights. There were no elections. You didn't elect the people in government. They had a dictator. Yes, Stalin was a dictator. He was an awful dictator. And I hear all these Jody Barr, I think that's her name, some British stupid idiot talks about communism. Yeah, she brings up that Lenin overthrew Nicholas Tsar. He also lied to the people, because here's the funny thing about the Soviet Union. Yeah, when Mikhail, when we had Mikhail Gorbachev versus Boris Yeltsin election, the CIA did rig the elections for Boris Yeltsin. Okay, they crashed the economy. Yeah, George Soros helped crash the economy. What happened? Thousands of people died of starvation, because when you have the government control everything, when it collapses, it's not, people are going to die. So what happened? My caregiver's family, I think, moved to the U.S. after that. And she talks to friends, and she says, things are worse now because a lot of people in poverty are still in poverty. The government doesn't help them. You go to Siberia, the middle of Siberia. These people are still in poverty, where all the oil and coal, all their Russia's natural resources that they sell off and everything, come from there. These people don't get shit. And yes, Russia colonized Siberia. It wasn't a part of Russia to begin with. Like you said, I think it was a Swede created Russia. Russia in Europe was Russia. Siberia was what's over Mongolia and China that goes to the Bering Sea. That was not a part of Russia to begin with. They stole the land from the native people there who are Asians. So Russians are Europeans. Yes, they are. They're Slavs, Europeans. They're not, for the most part, they're not Asian until they stole Siberia. Yeah. And China's always said a long time ago that, yeah, that was always part of China. Because if you look at China, Mongolia, Siberia, Korea, before it became two, we're talking Japan, and Taiwan is a part of China. These were one people. Yeah. And the Japanese, they literally stole China's kanji. They use the same kanji. The Korean made changes to the kanji they use, but it's all the same. Yeah. So, but getting back to this. Yeah. And if you, and they talk about, we want that free housing. If you remember Candyman, Gurney Green, I think that was the low-income housing they had in the movie. That is what they have for low-income housing in Russia that still exists. And that housing sucked. Why? Because the gangs had control over it. Just like in New York. And they don't tell you this. Is that housing was shit. The people in it were mainly poor black people who literally were hostages by the gangs that had taken it over. The police, did nothing about it. For a long time, the city did nothing about the problem with the gangs taking over these low-income housing. And you know this because when they made the movie Candyman, literally the actors talked about while they were working on it, the gangs who ran the building would show up. Some of those people in the movie were actually gang members. Yeah, and they had to be careful because they didn't want to get killed. They talked about what it was like to make that movie in that building where they realized they were dealing with gangs. Yeah, this is the problem. The socialist communists. Yeah, and I asked my caregiver, did you have any rights to go do what you wanted? No. They censored everything. If you didn't have a job that could benefit the state, and no, they did not redistribute fucking wealth to anyone. Yeah. If you didn't have a service that the government could use, like if you were, had the ability, you knew languages, or you were athletic, or let's say Mikhail Baryshnikov, if you didn't serve, a purpose for the state to benefit themselves, you were given a factory job. Yeah, you couldn't complain. To this day, you still can't criticize the government, or off to prison you go. So yeah, so all these communists going, oh, I want communism. They didn't redistribute the wealth. So when they hear it, tax the rich, the Democrats are fucking always lie about that. I said, show me, I asked this question. I said, name a time when Democrats keep their word that they're going to tax the rich. Never. It's a lie. Oh, when Obama was president, they had the House and Senate. They gave you Obamacare. They don't give a shit about healthcare or subsidies. That's why they let the government shut down. And I think this is hurting Trump. In reality, it's not. Trump is out there doing his job as president. He got to deal with Argentina. You don't have to like what he did, but he met with the new prime minister, who is what you would call a nationalist. He celebrates the war crimes that Japan did in World War II, like bombing Pearl Harbor and stuff. I'm not joking. And Japan like South Korea, both have a problem with their population. It's old. The young aren't having kids, and they move out of the country to the cities. So in Japan, as Chris Broad has pointed out, the countryside is disappearing because they're mostly old people, and the young don't want to live in the country. They move to the cities into small apartments, and they don't have families because they've always been encouraged, work, and this has bit them in the ass. So yeah, they have an aging population. Same thing with South Korea. They're not having, and China's also having the same issues, even though Xi gave incentives and they can't have as many kids as they want. They are also having the issue with the younger generation having kids. They're too busy doing what they do to have kids. America has this, everyone's having these problems. Because young people aren't having kids. They're just not. They're so wanting to be social media and all this stupid shit. So yeah. So while Trump's doing all those things, Democrats are sitting on their ass doing nothing. Just like the first time they locked the government down when Trump was president over the border wall, it backfired. And with the Supreme Court about to rule in favor of the government over the Civil Rights Act, when they do that, it's already planned to kick out these 25 black Democrats in red states. See, Democrats illegally, gerrymandering, but what Democrats did was in red states would illegally create black voting areas. That made it so that a white Republican, if they were white, could not run in these artificial black areas. This is illegal to do. It's racist as shit. And so they would do this in places like Louisiana. They would take New Orleans, and they take another, and then they took this far off red area, and they said, gerrymandered them together and said, only the black people can vote. Literally, these were artificially created black areas for the black voters, so they could only run a black person. Yeah, so that's why they're and the UCL, the NAACP is, and the ACLU is losing in court. They're losing this argument. They're going to lose. Palantir has done this. They're going to get this done. And it'll probably happen next month. And then what they'll do is kick out these 25. And most likely they've already worked out with the governors of these states, especially Texas, Louisiana, everything, to replace them with Republicans. Then what they'll do, they'll open the government up. Democrats will lose the midterms. Their party's already destroyed. And then I'll tell you right now, Palantir wants Maldani because he's a snake and a fucking, he's a liar. He smiles all the time, tells you stupid shit. Like, 4 out of 10 people in New York don't pay for the transportation to begin with, but he wants the free. Him and Andrew Cuomo keep saying the same stupid shit. Yeah, about free bus ride. It's not affordable. How you get to pay your bus ride? Oh yeah, taxes. And you heard this at the rally, tax the rich. You know, but all these Democrats are rich assholes. Yeah, Bernie has 3 homes, multimillionaire. AOC, multimillionaire. Maldini, multimillionaire. Like his wife. His mother, I believe, is a filmmaker. And so that's why he acts like an actor because she taught him how to act. Yeah. Well, Donnie don't give a shit about the Palestinians. He supports Israel. He's even been caught basically saying, yeah, I support Israel's. So all these people crying about what's going on over there, shut the fuck up. You don't give a fuck. This is just dumb. A lot of dumb people. You're not winning. You're losing. Wait till Richard Medhurst goes to prison for for his journalism. That's going to happen. I was like, yeah, the left are stupid. They keep pushing the same dumb shit. Candace Owens is so stupid. She basically, doesn't have any proof of anything. The funny thing, called Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and some other guy aliens. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, fucking dumb people. She's facing a lawsuit over calling Macron's wife a man. And, it's so ridiculous. The left calls for violence and murders. Well, oh, we gotta kill Trump. Good. I heard these 2 jackasses on 9/11 do dissidents. On 9/11, I wondered why they didn't show the day of what happened to Charlie Kirk. I did a video on it. And then I did a video where I realized who was behind it. 9/11 happened. These 2 douchebags, and I saw where they were celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. And they had a super chat where someone goes, "Go assassin." And they had Nick Cruz come on and say Charlie Kirk, and they laughed. And they said, yeah, Charlie Kirk deserved to die. And also said, oh, he would never debate us because you motherfuckers wouldn't sit down and talk to him. Charlie Kirk was always willing to talk to people. I didn't even know the guy, but everybody who said they ever met Charlie Kirk said he was the most milquetoast guy. He didn't support gay marriage, but he never called for gay people to be murdered. That's a lie. He also, I didn't agree when he said, a few people died, so I have the right to own guns. Yeah. Was it acceptable? That I did not like that. But here's the thing, I never heard him call for violence. I did hear them celebrate his murder. That's the left. And these guys are leftists. They pretend we're not Democrat. Yeah, you are. You're leftists. Because you hang out with you fucking talk, you live in your little bubble and you don't like it when somebody calls your shit out. And when I brought up what Senator Kennedy said and he showed the proof, I got screamed at. I don't care about being screamed at. I just find it obnoxious when a guy gets on before me and says, you can't talk to the left. They scream. You can't have conversations. These 2 act like they're not leftists. They are absolutely, they are leftists. They're not. It's fucking hilarious how far they are so far left. It's not even funny. They have a bubble of idiots who are on the far left, like Indie News, who sit there and said, we are all Antifa now. I'm not giving you a penny. Kit Cabello's I gave up on him the moment he said, in Portland, 2 undocumented illegals got their apartment raided. They fled. He goes, good. I said, okay, you're clearly a fucking leftist. Because you're celebrating undocumented illegals being in this country who, no. As many Latinos say, we don't want these people in this country. And so I said, okay, and then these 2. I'm like, yeah, I'm not supporting any of these people anymore. I don't care if you unsubscribe to me. I'm not a leftist. I'm not a liberal. I'm conservative on some things. I'm liberal. I have my viewpoints on things. I want the people who need to be taken care of. I don't want the welfare bitches getting free money. I don't want them getting free food stamps because they can get a job. I want the ghetto shit to stop. I want criminals to be prosecuted. I'm tired of bail reform. And I will say this right now. BLM was a creation of the CIA, Palantir, to do exactly, get dumb black people to riot and be violent and destroy their cities and their neighborhoods. And Antifa got involved. Antifa and BLM are terrorist organizations. They killed people. And the left went, yeah, we like that. Fuck Trump. Trump isn't the problem. He's a product of you fucking leftist assholes. Yeah. All you people want to complain, oh, Trump, Trump. You know what the fucking funny thing is? You are all the same horseshit. Kathy Hochul literally, in their own, one of their things, they put down how she's trying to get rent freeze and all this shit. And is at a rally where they said, tax the rich. And she literally said the stupidest thing off. Go Bills? Everyone heard it. I heard it. They keep saying this. Tax. They have no energy, by the way. Whenever Trump held a rally, people were excited. These idiots come together and they have low energy. Leftists have low energy. This is why they get their asses handed when they people are tired of they have what's called black fatigue. And from Nick Cruz and the rest, the Hodge twins, oh, you don't like them because they don't bow to your fucking slave mentality. Where the plantation where you think the state should give you nothing, give you your reparations. Fuck off. None of you have been slaves. None of you even experience real fucking racism. Oh, as Judge Joe Brown told Savvy, you guys, there's no systemic racism. America's not systemically racist. It has a racism problem. It has racism, but it ain't systemic. And when you look at FBI statistics, it shows that almost all violent crime in black communities is done by black people. Just like most violent crime on white people is done by white people. The police, when they do take someone, it's usually in self-defense. Yeah. But no, they always go, oh my God, this is racism. George Floyd had nothing to do with race, you dumb motherfuckers. And I said this before and you didn't listen. Body cam footage showed George Floyd put himself on the sidewalk and the cops were restraining him. He was on his stomach. No knee on the neck, moron. Nothing prevented him from breathing. He could turn his head, you fucking retards. The cops didn't kill him. The drugs in his system killed him. But of course, Keith Ellison had him changing. Oh, it's murder. Derek Chauvin didn't get a fair trial. Fuck off. The Aubrey case, the judge tossed out the defense. That's why the McMichaels and the neighbor, the guy that they didn't even know, are in prison. Fuck all of you. And the cops in Breonna Taylor's case, if you followed the fucking trial, Misty and the rest of the retard bunch, they were cleared of any wrongdoing because her drug-dealing boyfriend shot at the cops through the door, or maybe she also shot at the cops. Hitting one of them in the thigh. So they shot back. She died. They were cleared of any wrongdoing. Also, they did not multiple times announce themselves. And she wasn't in bed. That was another lie they told. Just like, oh, you think you fucking idiots, Misty and the rest of the retard bunch got fucking Julian Assange out of prison? No, you didn't. You idiots had nothing to do with it. Palantir released him. They broke him and they released him. You idiots act like you really had the power. No, you didn't. I'm not going to hate to tell you this, but you fucking idiots, your campaign didn't get Julian Assange out of prison. That's why you didn't thank any of you morons. Because it was the fucking Palantir. And yes, the Prime Minister of Australia probably played a part in it. But mainly Palantir released him because they broke him. They destroyed Julian Assange. He's never coming back and doing this shit. And then he let it know that you guys had nothing to do with it by thanking the Prime Minister of Australia for his release. He didn't thank his supporters because you had nothing to do with it. I got off on a tangent. I do this sometimes. But the thing is, getting back to the people screaming about me EBTs. If it goes away, I'll be fine. See, you hear that? I'm going to be fine. Now, we get these idiots on the left crying about, oh my God. And they don't realize Democrats shut the government down. Yeah. So, this is all Democrats' fault. And so they want to cry, oh my God, and blame Trump. Trump has nothing to do with shutting the government down. Democrats did this shit. You say whatever you want about Republicans, but when they point the truth out, you don't want to hear it, leftists. You want to, oh, it's all Trump's fault. Fuck right off. You guys are as fucking phony as always. And everything I told you about how I knew how this thing's going to go down in Gaza is true. But you don't want to hear it. I tell you shit and you don't listen. You're too stupid. Gray Zone's dumb as shit. For journalists, they still push stupid narratives. Oh, Mary Adelson. Guys are all dumb. Skydance will own Warner Brothers. That's coming. Nobody else will buy it because of Larry Ellison. He's in the guy. He's fucking part of the government. He runs the government. Idiots. Oracle. God, you're all stupid. Yes, you're all dumb. So, I just wanted to do this video, talk about that whole thing. I've got other things. I'm going to do a whole video about the people who fled the Soviet Union or tried to. Yeah, if the Soviet Union was so great, Misty and the rest of the morons who call themselves communists, why did Mikhail Baryshnikov fucking get asylum in America? Why did Katerina Witt's parents willing to go to prison for her to get out of Eastern Germany? If it's so great, why were even people in the military? The movie, Hunt for October is based on the story of the greatest, Russia, the Soviet Union's highest commander of one of their subs defected the U.S. and brought to America one of the Soviets' greatest accomplishments, silent sonar. That's how we learned about it. Why would they try to defect if things were so great in the Soviet Union? Because you had no fucking freedoms, morons. So you're gonna get your goddamn communism state when you have no rights. Your fucking gun rights are going bye-bye. Your fucking right to say whatever you want is going to be taken away. You are literally stupid. You are. You're too dumb to understand that you have lost. You keep thinking you're winning. No, you've lost. But keep being stupid. And thinking Maldoni's going to save you. I don't give a shit. I don't live in New York. I live in Oregon hell. I love Oregon. I hate the politicians. They're all scum. Both sides are. So don't give me this shit, because I bring up what Senator Kennedy for Louisiana said and showed the proof. Shut the fuck up. This is the fucking how the left works. They don't like what you say, they shout at you and scream at you. They don't want to have real debate about anything. And for Russell and Keaton, if you see this, I'm not stopping supporting you over that. I'm stopping supporting because you always look down on me. That's how you leftists are. You sit there and make fun of Donald Trump, and yes, Trump says, but here's the funny thing, you support the same bullshit that all the other idiots. And as far as this woman that got caught up in a vehicle of drugs, everybody in the vehicle got charged. Yes, she gets a lawyer, she goes to the hearing, and by then the prosecutor her lawyer can ask for drop the charges. Being the fact that if it's true that she didn't know there were drugs in the vehicle, and even though she was charged with trafficking drugs, if the prosecutor has no way to prove she knowingly got in the vehicle, most of the time they drop charges on people because they go, we have no proof that this person or these people knew anything about the drugs. That's probably coming. So calm the fuck down. Calm the fuck down. Just get her a lawyer, go to court on the day that they're supposed to show up in Georgia, and her lawyer can go, yeah, we would like the charges dismissed during the hearing, because that's what this will be, a hearing, to decide if they want to proceed with her. They'll have all the defendants involved in this what happened, and they'll go through each one and they'll decide if they have a case against any one of them. That's how this works. Prosecution, the defense attorneys will present that my client had no knowledge the drugs were in the car when we got in. The prosecution now has to be able to show the judge, yes, we have proof that this person knew the drugs were in the vehicle, or the judge will agree with the defense and drop all charges, and they'll walk out free. That's usually how these hearings work. So her being charged is not the same as being guilty. Over dramatic are these morons. But they're fine with violent felons killing people. They're fine with violent felons. They always try to say, well, it says crime numbers are down because if you're not prosecuting anybody, crime statistics will always look low, but violent crime's up. like when they lied about DC, oh, no, violent crime was up. It was a cop that inflated the numbers to make it look like everything went down. The mayor, the idiot mayor, actually thanked Trump and then tried to have it both ways by criticizing him. Shut the fuck up. Gavin Newsom goes, I'm not going to stop giving illegal licenses to undocumented illegals, because he had 2 fucking illegal Indian drivers drive semi-trucks. One of them was drunk on his ass and ran in and killed a bunch of people. The other tried to make an illegal turn on the freeway, causing people to crash and killing them. And and by the way, the government handles the real licenses. Now that we're dealing with government real licenses instead of, here's the thing. When they told him to stop giving them out, he said, Gavin Newsom, so they're going to hold with funding. Also, Trump's going to send the Department of Justice to observe the upcoming elections to make sure Democrats aren't going to try to rig the voting again like they do in every election in California. Gavin Newsom had a tizzy fit over it. This guy cries over Joe Rogan not wanting him on his podcast. The guy's a shitty governor, and all these fucking idiots on the left, we love you, Gavin Newsom. Yeah, you're a shit. Your family's rich. You didn't grow up poor or anything. Your father was rich. It's like fucking Tucker Carlson going, I'm not in the CIA. You're a fucking CIA. You were absolutely in the CIA, bitch. You're their little fucking mouthpiece. Like Hillary Clinton was a CIA lawyer. Yeah. God, there's so much people don't understand about, like who did the blacklist in Hollywood? Alan Dulles of the CIA, the director. He put in CIA agents like Elia Kazan to basically go after the communists. Why do you think Walt Disney testified? Because he was told, his animators were told that he was joining the Communist Party. He hated communists. Yeah, he hated communists. And he testified Reagan almost got hoodwinked by the fucking communists. He didn't support them either. And he was a Democrat for a long time. He fucked up California by letting the undocumented illegals flood California. That's why California's a shit state. Oh my God. Fucking left retards. And now we know Kathy Hochul, Horse Teeth Hochul, is giving out illegal, real licenses to undocumented illegals because, for one, they got caught in Oklahoma with some of them had, and the governor showed off the licenses of these undocumented illegals with no name on them. Yes, you're not allowed to give licenses because the moment you do that, it registers them to vote. When you give a license to a migrant who's not a legal citizen or an illegal, they immediately get put in the system to register to vote. You're not allowed legally. No state is allowed legally to give out driver's licenses because they're not legal citizens. They're not allowed to own property. They're not allowed to rent anything. They don't pay taxes because guess what? They're not legally allowed to be here. Do you understand? Green card holders have legal status to be here. They can work. They get ability to pay taxes. They're allowed to live here because they went through the process to get green cards. Yeah. Then you have others who go through and register in the government. When they come here, they go to immigration and they report and get themselves put in the system, registered as so that they can live here and become an American citizen. They go through legal status. They are allowed to work and live in America. You have passport holders that can only stay as long as their passport allows them. Other migrants are illegally here, are not allowed to vote or drive. Goddamn fucking Democrats. I will never support your fucking party. When you celebrated Charlie Kirk's assassination, you lost me. So for anybody wondering, I will never fucking support the left. And no, I'm not even pissed off at Russell yelling at me over what I brought about what Senator Kennedy said. I'm just annoyed that they never want to hear the truth. And they want to look down on me and say, okay, I say stuff and they don't even listen. I tell them, go look at what Actual Justice Warrior did about the housing in New York. Yeah, he has great videos on that. I do. I watch his stuff. And he's more like me. He's not a Democrat, not a Republican. He's in the middle. Yeah, he makes fun of the whole Gaza situation, which I think is hilarious. But yeah, people in America don't give a shit. And Rachel Zegler, given some stupid title, she ruins every project she's ever in because she runs her mouth. She has never had a hit movie. Hollywood's not going to hire her to be in another movie. Every movie she bombs. God, I remember when before the remake, Spielberg's remake of West Side Story, both him and her ruined the movie. She said, well, only Puerto Ricans should star in this movie. By the way, her family's, she's Polish and Colombian. She's not Puerto Rican. Then Spielberg goes, well, this movie's going to be in Spanish with no subtitles. What? Then everyone stayed away. It flopped harder than fucking, yeah. So, yeah. She doesn't make people any money. She ruins movies because she won't shut the fuck up. So, yeah. All the welfare, back to the welfare queens. They are these fuckers crying. I'm not crying about it because I know I'm going to be fine. I get $23, nothing lost. I'm going to be fine. I'm not worried about it. My housing is secured as far as I know. I've been through this before and I didn't have it lose anything, so I'm not worried. I don't think I even lost my food stamps in the government shutdown. I know a lot of states they're cutting them off. But I'll probably, they did say you probably will because of the government shutdown. We'll see. I ain't worried about it. I ain't one of these people crying about it because I know I'm going to be fine. See, I'm not a welfare queen or garbage or freeloader like the left. Oh, we want everybody to never have to work. Shut the fuck up. I hate these people. If I could work, I would get a job and work. I always find the fucking communists and socialists stupid as fucks. Oh yeah, let's give reparations. Judge O'Brien says you ain't no shit. And other black people say that. They call them coons and they call them traitors. And I love how the most ghetto motherfuckers always use the N-word, not knowing where it came from or what it represents. Well, because they don't study shit about history or Africa. They don't know the truth about the slave trade. They don't even know the truth about the colonization of Africa. All these idiots, Gerald Horn and everything, want to talk about colonization and da-da-da. You guys are dumb as shit. Africa wasn't colonized by the white Europeans. It was colonized by the rich tribal leaders who sold the goddamn place off to the Europeans. God, look into it. They sold their antiquities to the Europeans. Except for, well, in Egypt they did. They sold them off. And then they bitch, we want them back. Well, you sold them to the Europeans, to the goddamn people. The reason there are white people in Africa is because the white tribal leaders sold off the land of Africa to them because they went and saw what they wanted, what Europe had, cities and all that stuff. Because they said, wow, that looks better than this shit. So, yeah. The white man didn't colonize, they were allowed to by the rich tribal leaders. Just like slavery started with the rich tribal leaders. They sold and they called the N-word, you fucking dumb motherfuckers, yes, it's a humiliating word and the first slave owner was an African. And he taught the white man to say the N-word. By N-word, I mean nigger. Because it was considered these people are not human, they're cattle. You can eat them. That's what the rich Bhutan, these rich tribal leaders did. They used to eat these people they didn't want to keep as their own slaves. Yes, they had slaves. They would cannibalize them. They would cut their hearts out to worship their multi-gods. Yeah. So they were cannibals. Then they sold them to the Portuguese. That's where the slaves trade. They called them subhuman. So when I hear black people go, oh my God, it's racist when white people, hey morons, you're literally calling yourself less than human shit. So congratulations. And yeah. And I've talked about where I heard that word the first time, and it wasn't even said at a black person. It was a black lady, my only real best friend I ever had in life when I was a little boy. His mother called a white serial killer who tried to kill her son and me, called him the N-word. By N-word, I mean nigger. Threatened to kill him if he ever came back. Yeah, and I defended my friend against two black kids who were bullying him, and the black teacher sitting there let it happen. I told these two kids, if you fucking niggers don't leave my friend alone, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. I get in trouble. His mother flips out on the teacher and principal and said, why didn't you stop him from bullying my son? And she told me, and I've told this to other black people, she said, don't use this based on the color of their skin. Call any piece of shit the N-word. I've called Joe Biden that. I called Bill Clinton that. Hell, I've even said that about, pretty much all politicians are that, are niggers. It had nothing to do with skin color. It's a pile of shit they are. They act like shit. They deserve to be called shit. But then I hear all these ghetto motherfuckers like Ron calling, I'm saying it like it's a fucking compliment. God, you're fucking... No wonder Richard Pryor never said it after going to Africa. Now, one bitch went in a car said, well, if they cut my thing off, I should gonna go kill Trump. Good luck with that. Secret Service will have something to say about it. But the left, you fucking retards, you're stupid. You don't even look at your own party and blame them, it is absolutely Democrats. And no, this isn't hurting Trump. Oh, I know, you watch MSNBC, the network fucking sliding into irrelevancy. It's such shit that NBC, Universal, is literally getting rid of it. It's no longer going to be called MSNBC. It's just going to be called MS, or should it be called bullshit? CNN? They love to say, they love to shit on Trump. I'm not a Trump guy. I have my criticisms of him. He loves to talk. He loves to smile. I don't like people that smile when they bullshit people. I despise any politician who's as scummy as Muldowney, smiling all the time while he lies to you. And I try to tell them these two idiots, and they don't want to listen. They go, Muldowney's going to save us. Go eat shit. When he doesn't, and he's taxing your ass, because they always say they'll tax the rich. And the answer, no, Democrats have never taxed the rich, because they would have to tax themselves. You utter stupid morons. And I've had it with these people on the left. And yes, Russell and Keaton like pretend that they're not. They are. You yell at me when I bring up what Robert Kennedy said about what the Democrats tried to sneak into this bill that they tried to pass. You fucking idiots. Shut the fuck up. Your party are the ones who supported the riots and murders of innocent people. And Antifa and everything. Yeah, when I brought that up, you were like, because you support Antifa, fascist motherfuckers. Italy has a saying, the foundation of fascism started in Italy. There's two types of fascists, fascist and anti-fascist. There's no distinction. They're the same garbage. And communism, socialism, communism is fascism. There's no elections. Oh, Trump's the king. No, he's not. He was elected. God, you people are dumb. Plus, Palatero controls the electoral college, so they didn't have to use it because overwhelmingly people voted for him. So, bye. Yeah. I'm going to go see Chainsaw Man again tomorrow. I love that fucking movie. This is Gilgamesh. I will talk to you later. Bye.